Okay. Today we are going to see another set of knowledge, a set of knowledge that we actually, all of us as Indians, are as people of Bharat, we should understand, because that is our culture, that is our heritage, and that culture and heritage has given us some very eternal principles of life and living. To live in this world successfully, as well as to live in this world in a way that is useful to the society, to the universe, etc. A larger goal. So to live a larger goal and to live your individual goal also, both combined. Your individual goal is living and your larger goal is the life. Okay, that is what is defined. I mean, the difference between what is life and living. Life means the higher set of goals that you are setting forth for yourself. And living is the individual, the immediate goals that you are setting forth with. Okay, so the material living and the spiritual living, you can call that way also. The spiritual living is called as life. Material living is simply called as living. So eternal principles of life and living, which we were handed down from generations, and these are still valid. The only thing is that we need to reshape it to fit the times that we are living in. നമ്മൾ അന്ന് 5000 കൊല്ലങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 3000 കൊല്ലങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പോ പറഞ്ഞു വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന ചില പ്രിൻസിപ്പിൾസ് അത് അതേപടി ഇന്ന് അങ്ങനെ ഡയറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. കാരണം അന്നത്തെ ആൾക്കാർ ജീവിച്ചിരുന്ന രീതികളും അവരുടെ ജോലികള് ഇതൊക്കെ വ്യത്യാസം ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു അല്ലെ, 1000, 3000, 4000 കൊല്ലങ്ങൾക്ക്. അപ്പൊ അന്നത്തെ ജീവിതത്തിനും മറ്റേ ജീവിതശൈലിക്കും ജോലികൾക്കും ഒക്കെ ബാധകമാവുന്ന വിധത്തില് അന്ന് റൂൾസ് ആൻഡ് റെഗുലേഷൻസ് അന്ന് അത് ഉണ്ടാക്കിയതിനെ ഇന്റർപ്രറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് ആ റൂൾസ് ആൻഡ് റെഗുലേഷൻസ് കെയിം ഫ്രം അവർ വേദാസ്. അപ്പോൾ അത് ആൻഡ് ദ ഉപനിഷത്സ് അതിൽ നിന്ന് വന്നതാണ്. അത് അന്നത്തെ ലോകത്തിന് വേണ്ടി എഴുതിയിരിക്കുന്ന ഡിസ്ക്രിപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. അത് നമുക്ക് ഇന്നത്തെ 21ാമത്തെ സെഞ്ചുറിയിൽ 21st സെഞ്ചുറിയില് where science has developed, technology has progressed, and we are all living in a very advanced society. പിന്നെ അന്ന് വളരെ ചെറിയ കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റീസിൽ ജീവിച്ചിരുന്ന ആൾക്കാർക്ക് അടുത്ത കമ്മ്യൂണിറ്റിയിൽ പോകാൻ തന്നെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇന്ന് അങ്ങനെയല്ല. ഇന്ന് നമ്മള് ലോകം മുഴുവനും എല്ലാം ഒറ്റ ഒരു യൂണിറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഗ്ലോബൽ വില്ലേജ് ആയി മാറി. Another villages were disconnected. Today, all these cities and towns and villages are all connected, and we are having a larger, sphere of communication. അങ്ങനെ പല വ്യത്യാസങ്ങളും വന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിനനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് നമുക്ക് we will try to see the eternal principles of life and living in some detail. Every for the next few weeks, I will come up with one episode each. And I'm going to connect it with a strategy called see, think, and reflect. See, think, and reflect is a learning strategy. നമുക്ക് പഠിത്തത്തിന് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ പറ്റാവുന്ന ഒരു സ്ട്രാറ്റജിയാണ് സീയിങ്, തിങ്കിങ് ആൻഡ് റിഫ്ലക്റ്റിംഗ്. അത് എന്ത് സംഗതികളും നോളജ് അക്വയർ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ, ഇഫ് യു വാണ്ട് ടു റിയലി അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡ് ആൻഡ് നോ ആൻഡ് അക്വയർ നോളജ്, then the best strategy to apply that is see, think, and reflect. So I'm going to use see, think, and reflect strategy to actually make you understand our eternal principles of life and living. Okay. So let us this process of see, think, using the see, think, and reflect series, I'm going to expose you this eternal principles of life and living. So what is eternal principles of life and living? What does it mean? What does it signify? Let us take a look at that. So there are two things. One is eternal principles. Eternal, the word eternal. The word eternal in Sanskrit is called as Sanathana. Okay, all of you may have heard this thing, especially in the recent times. There have been a lot of controversies and other things happening in the name of Sanathana and Dharma, etc. So eternal means Sanathana in Sanskrit. Principles of life and living. That is Dharma. The Sanskrit term defining the principles of life and living is called as Dharma. That which guides your immediate goals and your larger goals. That is Dharma, Adarsh.
So can you say that our current, that the religion, what we call as Hinduism, contains these eternal principles of life and living?
Right.
That's why it's also called Sanathana Dharma.
Yes, no, it is, that is not why it is called Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana Dharma is the root from which that was taken, that was formed. Okay, so before Hinduism was there, initially, 5,000 years back, there was nothing called as Hinduism. That Hinduism was the name given later, much later. Initially, we had this, what is called as the principles of life and living, and which was, these principles of life and living laid down in those times were taken in from the Vedas, which were mostly Srutis. Sruti meaning the knowledge that people transmitted by hearing. The Guru taught the Shishya, like that it went on. So, there was no written things at that time. And Sruti and then Smritis. Then Smritis were formed. Smriti meaning reflection, memories. So, from what we hear, you think about it and apply it. What you understand, you think about it and then you apply it. And that application was written down. That became the principles of life and living later. And these were called as actually Vedas and Upanishads. And Vedas and Upanishads therefore became the principles of life and living. And these Vedas were believed to be, coming down from eternity. I mean, it was always the fundamental principles. Why it was called, why it is called eternal, why it is called fundamental, etc., is something that you will understand later. But at the moment, you can think of it as that it is not one single person who wrote down all this. It was there, and it came down. They were all put together, and then reflected upon. Initially, they were heard, and then they were reflected upon, and that reflected upon knowledge is called as the Smritis. And those Smritis are basically these Smritis. Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti actually, okay, document, a Smriti scripture, Bhagavad Gita, which is something that has been reflected upon from the knowledge and then applied to the current, whenever it was required at the current age. Every age can interpret it and then apply it properly according to what is required to live a good life. So this Smriti, it contains these principles of eternal life and living, and it is from eternity. Therefore, it is called as eternal principles of life and living. Therefore, that English term, when it is translated, becomes Sanathana Dharma. Correct? That is how that term came. And from this only, Hinduism also took a lot of things. Hinduism also took, added a lot of other things into it also. A lot of ritualistic aspects and other things, which is a different thing. But the principles of life and living has been taken in from the Upanishads, and it is called as Sanathana Dharma.
So we are saying like we didn't really have a religion, but just follow these principles, right, sir?
Yeah, go on. Sorry.
And then and then nowadays it has been called in religion called Hinduism, right?
Yeah. Now it is not. Sanatana Dharma is not called as Hinduism. That was a name later on, later given by people for a set of people living in some areas. Okay, which is basically the south of Indus Valley and all those things. And that history you will learn later sometime. But this area, so that became more popular as more popular word, Hinduism. But that I will not say Sanatana Dharma is equal to Hinduism. Yes, Hinduism was derived out of the principles of Sanatana Dharma. That's it. So Sanatana Dharma is something even much more beyond, in terms of even its longevity as well as in terms of its relevance. It is much more eternal than Hinduism. So Sanatana Dharma is derived. I mean, Hinduism derives from Sanatana Dharma. That is what it is. So okay, moving forward. Okay, so these principles of life and living, Dharma, which is eternal, we need to actually translate that into the present. Today, whatever you are doing, we need to translate that. In fact, that translation is one of the things that we are doing through Bhagavad Gita. Learning Bhagavad Gita is basically that only, because We are trying to translate the meaning of that Bhagavad Gita into what we are, into this world where we are living now. So we are trying to look at the principles of the Sanathana, fundamental principles of Sanathana Dharma as few items. It will cover about maybe 15-20 items will cover the whole of the principles, the fundamental principles. So I'm going to look at each one of them separately in in relation to what you have to do now. So, and as applicable to you as children, as students, as daughters, as sons, etc. So the first one is basically this. I'm not going to explain here. I'm going to now apply this principle of see, think, and reflect. So what I want you to do, each of you, to look at the screen and first do only what I ask you to do, okay? Make sure that you understand what I am saying and then do only what I have told you. The first thing that you have to do is to look at the screen, look at the diagram, or I will call it as infographic. That is the 21st century term for a diagram. Okay, so infographic. Look at the infogram or infographic, and tell me what are the things that you see. That's all. What are the things that you see? You can, each one of you can just keep, telling me what it is, and you use 1 or 2 words only, not more than that. Just keep telling me what you see there. What are the things that you see? Yes, you can start now. Yeah, Didi, raise the hand first.
Sir, I see difference between ego and self.
Okay, so you see 2 words, ego and self, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then what else? Bhadra, Shankar.
Sir, the difference between selfishness and selflessness.
Did you see where is the word difference? Is there anywhere there?
Not if.
No, I am asking you to just look at and see what you see and tell me what are the things that you see.
Selfishness and selflessness.
Okay, good. That way. Selfishness and the word selfishness and selflessness. Then what else? Who Akshara? Agash. Who is that? Raise the hand.
I see ego leading to selfishness and self leading to selflessness.
No. That is your inference. Correct? That is what you understand. I'm not asking you to tell me what you understand. I am asking you to tell me what you see.
Yeah, I see the self and ego.
That anyway, we have written ego, selfishness, selflessness. That is covered. What else do you see?
I see the 2 sides and the infographics.
2 sides. Okay, correct. Fine. 2 sides to the infographic. Good. Okay. 2 sides to the infographic. Then what else do you see? Yes, go on, Amaldev, Gaurav.
Sir, I see selfishness and selfness.
That is already written. Yeah, that is already written. It's already gone. Okay, those words which have been mentioned, those things that have been mentioned is already out of that picture. Okay, so find it something new which has not been mentioned so far. Gaurav.
BMI, body, mind, intellect.
Body, the word body, mind, and intellect. Body, mind,
BMI.
intellect. BMI is not written there anywhere. Do you see anywhere BMI?
Body, mind, intellect.
Body is there, mind is there, intellect is there. BMI is not there. Body, mind, intellect. Okay, next. Dhyan.
Joys of self, joys of ego.
Joys of self and joys of ego. Okay. Those words are there. Joys of ego, joys of self. Okay, then what else? Tell me what are all the things that you see. Except, the first top line you can avoid, the Pattern Institute and all those things. That top line is only a title bar, so forget about that. And the logos. The rest of the things is basically what I want you to interpret. I mean, to see what you are seeing. Yeah, Ratul.
Emotions and thoughts.
Emotions and thoughts. Okay, emotions and thoughts. Emotions and thoughts. The word emotions and thoughts. Then. Another phrase or word, yes. Niranjan.
Sir, I have a doubt. Does that what you see in the infographic thing can reflect count?
No, that will come. That I will come. I will ask you to do that. But now, at the moment, just find all the elements.
Sir,
In the picture.
What?
In the picture only.
In the picture. In the picture, and in that picture, what are the things that you see? And tell me.
Sir?
Yeah.
The two modes of thinking, selfish and selfless thinking.
That is written already. Selfishness and selfless is already taken away. Sri Lakshmi, Navami.
I say where the body, mind, and intellect leads to.
What?
She sees where the body, mind, and intellect leads to.
Body, mind, and intellect. The words are taken up already. It's gone. Blocks of body, mind, and intellect. What else do you see? I mean, basically, this process is going to teach you how to look at things. Okay, how to look at the things. That is where a lot of us fail. I mean, in the sense, I'm not saying you fail, but in general, looking should be perfect first. Yeah, Sri Lakshmi.
Sir, this is Vidhi.
Yeah. Who?
Sir, the color of ego and self is different.
Okay. Come see those differences. So you will say, what is the color? What is the difference there? I mean, in the sense, what do you see actually?
So ego is red in color
Okay.
and self is blue.
Okay, red for ego, red box for ego. Okay, red box for ego. Then the other one is blue box for self. Right? Okay. So red box for ego, blue box for self. Then what else? What else is remaining?
Sir,
So selfishness
One
in
second.
red.
I will just show you the words that has already been you looked at and found these things. Can you see the words that I have written now?
sir.
Yes, sir.
You can see, right? Okay. You right? Sorry. Oops.
Sir, in the picture,
second.
ego and self both are highlighted.
Ego
In
and
the self are both highlighted in bold, like joys of the ego and joys of the self. That self and ego are highlighted.
okay. So when highlighted meaning, I will write what you see is what I want. Okay. You say highlighted. That highlighted is not what basically what it is. In the sense that is your inference. What you see is capitalized words. Correct? Am I right, Shruti? Capitalized ego
Yes, sir.
and self. That is what I want. I want you to see what and then tell me what it is. What is it that you see? The next step will come later. We'll take it up later. But so capitalized ego and capitalized self. Okay. Then. Okay.
Uncle, it's
What
written
else?
our actions.
What?
Our actions.
Actions. Where is correct. Driving all our actions is another word that you have missed out. Driving all our actions, right? Okay, so I'm going to read out whatever you have identified, and then you tell me if there is anything missing. Ego, self, selfishness, selflessness. Two sides of the infographic. Body, mind, intellect. Joys of ego, joys of self. emotions and thoughts. Red box for ego, blue box for self. Capitalized ego, self, driving all our actions. Okay. Anything else missing?
So,
Hmm.
selfishness is highlighted in red and selflessness is in blue.
Right. Okay.
And sir, in
Selflessness
the
in
red three
red.
arrows.
One second. Selflessness in blue. Okay. Then what is it? Next.
Sir, there are 3 arrows in this one.
Okay. So there are 3 arrows.
What?
3 arrows were from ego. Right? 3 arrows from ego, right? And 3 arrows from self. Where are they pointing to?
So, body, mind, and intellect.
Okay, pointing
So,
to body, mind, intellect. So 3
Sir,
arrows from ego pointing to body, mind, and intellect. Then
sir,
three-
2 boxes depict.
one second. 3 arrows from self pointing to body, mind, and intellect. Okay, then what was it? Next one?
Sir, 2
Amalde.
boxes.
Two
Sir,
boxes.
2 boxes depicting selfishness and selfness.
Two boxes or one box.
Two.
Which- Which one are you referring to? Which is that? Which are those 2 boxes?
2 mind maps. 2 mind maps.
No, this is not a mind map.
Yes, sir.
Are you talking about this one? This last line, the selfishness and
No,
selfishness
the
in a
top
black
one.
box.
The top one. The top one.
There is no box in here. This box, you are talking about this box.
Yeah, those 2
Okay,
boxes.
so fine. And that actually you can, I will ignore that. At the moment, I not required. Okay, 2 boxes. Yeah, because we have already said 2 sides of the infographic. So I will put it the
Sir,
boxes.
sir, one arrow is pointing outside also. Like next to selflessness and selfishness.
One arrow.
And also the BMI is, body,
Wait,
mind, and
let us
intellect
complete that. Let us complete. One arrow pointing where?
outside somewhere.
Pointing outside. One arrow pointing outside. Okay.
In the ego box and self box.
Yeah, one arrow pointing outside. What is that arrow? Okay, pointing outside on both sides. On both sides. Okay. Is there anything missing now? Of course, one thing that is missing is selfishness and selflessness is in a black box. Right? In a black box.
Sir, also one more thing. BMI is hanging in that arrow. Body, mind, intellect is hanging in that arrow.
Body, mind, and intellect is what?
Hanging, like.
Hanging. Okay.
Yeah.
Not hanging. Actually, that is the line pointer. Okay. So BMI is connecting to that arrow pointing outside, right? So I will say body, mind, and intellect. Body, mind, intellect, arrow outside. One arrow pointing outside on both sides. Okay. So is there anything?
Sir,
Yeah.
the body, mind, and intellect being idle and waiting for ego and self, or the self.
What is it? What is it?
The body, mind, and intellect being idle and just waiting for the self or the
Do you
ego.
see that? Do you see that in the diagram?
I'd say like that. It's stationary and not. It's stationary in both.
Everything is stationary.
Like now, like it. It is just like that. White.
It is just
The
a
white box for all.
those boxes are all body, mind, and intellect are all white boxes.
Yeah, the
boxes.
white boxes.
Yeah, boxes in white.
Like the jiva. We can relate to the jiva.
No. There is no relation, nothing. I'm not asking for any relationship now.
Yeah. Yeah, we can say like
No,
just
you cannot say. I am asking you, what do you see? Okay. When I ask you what do you see, you have to tell me what you see. That's all. Nothing more.
white boxes. White
White
boxes.
boxes. Yeah, white
body.
boxes with body. So I have changed that initial description, which therefore now reads like this. Okay, the list now reads like this. Sorry. Yeah. Can you see the full thing? Ego, self, selfishness, selflessness in a black box. Two sides of the infographic, two boxes. Body, mind, intellect, boxes in white. Joys of ego, joys of self. Emotions and thoughts, red box for ego, blue box for self, capitalized ego, self, driving all our actions, selfishness in red, selflessness in blue, three arrows from ego, pointing to body, mind, and intellect, three arrows from self, pointing to body, mind, and intellect, then body, mind, and intellect connecting to one arrow pointing outside on both sides. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so everything that you have now seen has been listed out. Everything. Now comes the next part, which is after having seen and looked at what you have seen, after having seen what you have looked at, the next step would be to explain each one of those items. What is that? Think about what it is. Ego and self. What do you think about that? Let us start thinking about that now. Okay, next step is to think of all the items that you have seen. Think of all the items that you have seen. Ego, self. First one. Okay, tell me what it is. Okay, what I will do is I will list it out as in numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, instead of continuing here, I will do one thing. I'm going to post this in VV group and the diagram as well as this list of 15 items. Each one of those items, 1 to 15, each one you have to explain what do you think about those things. Okay, what do you think about those things? That is basically what I want you to write down. And
So in the group or in the class?
you can actually put it in the group. Yeah, no problem. All of you can actually put it in the group. I'm going to post it so that we won't. Otherwise, we will not have time to complete it. So next week we will complete. But I want you to write it down and send it to me. I will list it out and the diagram. Okay, so that is now posted.
Uncle,
Yeah.
Anika says she wants to add one more.
What is that? Anything missing?
Sir, body, mind, and intellect is capitalized.
Yeah, that. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah, that is fine. That is also in capital. Yeah. Correct. So in cap, body, mind, and intellect, boxes in white, capitalized. And capitalized.
So,
Okay. So that is done. Now the next step is for you to think about it. And think about it, each item, think, and then what do you want? What do you think about these items? They are interlinkings. Whatever you think, you write down. But make sure that you cover all the 15 items. Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can we also say like the body, mind, and intellect boxes are like merged, connected, like they're overlapping each box?
Yeah. Very good. Very good. Okay. 16th item. Put the 16th item as the body, mind, intellect boxes overlap. Right?
Sir, can we also say that in the blue box, I mean in the red or blue box, the ego and self are written in white color?
That is okay, because otherwise I mean it's fine. Yeah, but I think let us add that also. The words ego and self are in white inside the box. Yes. Good. Okay. I think that's it. That's it for the time being. That will do. 17 words. 17 descriptions you have seen. As you have seen, 17 items that you have seen are written there. Sri Lakshmi. Sri Lakshmi or Naomi, who has raised the hand?
Ego means like hatred, anger, and very much bad things.
That is your
But
thinking.
self,
Yeah, that is your thought. That is your thought, which I want you to write down and send it on the WhatsApp. Okay, your thought. I will post this, okay, after the class, and then you can start.
okay, sir.
Yeah, okay. So we will continue for today's this thing. I think that should be enough of principles of life and living. It will unfold now. You are going to unfold the principles of life and living. That is the idea through this process of say, think, and wonder. Okay, good.